I actually had an attending tell me that, your job as an intern is to do grunt work. So
Straight up.
yeah, straight up.
That's what's up.
I'm like, all right, cool.
I got you.
All right, let me just go do this blood draw.
What's up, guys?
Welcome back for another video.
This is Waqas,
This is Wasim.
and today we're going to be talking about intern year and how to get ready for it.
Right, so I'm a PGY1 going on to becoming a PGY2, and you're starting out your intern year.
Yeah, I'm going to start in July, so I'm kind of excited about that.
Right.
Yeah.
So what happens after you match? Like after you match, how do you prepare for your intern year?
Well, after you match, it's basically, so I was a part of the pre-match. Let's give some context here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was outside of the match, and I had to withdraw my application from the match. I got a decision very early on, so since December I've known I've been matched. And basically since then, I have had to just do paperwork. So the hospital requires a ton of paperwork to get credentialed, to get your NPI number, to be able to prescribe, to just be able to see patients in general, and you have to sign a lot of waivers, because
Contracts, waivers.
contracts, all that stuff. So you have to get that out of the way, upload your documents, stuff like that. That keeps you busy in the meantime, right? So that's initially what happens after you match for your specific residency program. And then after that, I'm more focused now on how do I get ready to be able to function properly on the floors, because that's going to be my career from here on out.
Right.
So I want to make sure that I'm super prepared. I don't want to look like an idiot when I'm walking into a patient room like, oh dude, I haven't touched this for like 6 months, but I think you got pancreatitis.
It's very easy to forget all the information we have learned, especially if you're not studying for like a whole year and then you just start intern year. It might be very difficult in the beginning because the learning curve is very steep.
Yeah.
You have to learn, the EMR of the hospital,
EMR is important.
Right. So that takes a long time to learn, and you have to learn, the mechanics of professionalism, basically, how to be professional, how to communicate with your coworkers and other people that are working with you, like the nurses, the social worker. So that is a very steep learning curve, and not many people. Because they haven't had any jobs in the past, when they start intern year, they're very confused and lost as how to communicate with other professionals that are working with them. So because you're a doctor now, you tend to think you're very important when you first get there, right? But you quickly realize that you're not important at all, right?
Basically, you're at the bottom of the totem pole again.
You're at the bottom.
You climb up to the top a little bit, your fourth year, you're feeling like but you're not, because now you just get kicked back down to the bottom and you got to start working your way up again. You got to start relearning things. You got to start working at your imaging evaluations. Can you read this image appropriately? Can you get the diagnosis correct? Can you get the proper treatment to the patient? That's very important.
First year is not even like that per se. Like you are doing that, but that's more on your time.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. I was like, to get prepared is what I was more thinking about now at this point. So I'm thinking of getting prepared for intern year. That's mainly what I'm focused on now. Those type of little details. Once I actually get into intern year, I know it's going to be totally different. You probably have a better perspective on it, right? So how was it for you?
So you have to realize that as an intern, your job is to basically do the grunt work and make sure that everything that the attending wants is done on time. For example, you can't, if the patient needs a BMP and the nurse isn't able to get it, you can't just say, it's not my job to do blood draws. You have to go and do the blood draw. And that takes time. Initially, if you're not used to putting IVs in, doing blood draws, and, even if the patient needs transport and the transport is busy, you need to transport the patient to like CT or MRI or whatever they need in order for them to get whatever the patient needs on time. So you have to make sure the patient is getting everything as planned, and then the discharge is planned, and they're discharged on time.
So how much patient load did they give you in the beginning? How much did they start you off with, or did they work your way into a certain number?
Well, when I started my residency, it was like the COVID era, right? A lot of people weren't leaving their houses at that time. So the patient load actually wasn't big at all. Like initially we had like 4 patients per intern, or on some other teams there were even less. Sometimes you had 2 patients, on a team. But now it's completely different. Now it's like 4, 5, 6, 10 patients. Sometimes now on the floors we have 10 patients per intern, because people are coming out of their houses again. They're coming to the hospital again. So the patient load is going to be bigger for you guys when you start intern year.
Yeah, it's going to slowly increase. So that's a thing to keep in mind, that, as you progress through time as a intern, PGY2, PGY3, you're more responsible for more things. So in the beginning, I'm more focused on getting the basics of medicine down. I'm trying to go through different resources. I'm going to use UWorld to go through my step 3 prep, get that out of the way prior to intern year. That's a big thing because I feel like if I get that out of the way right now, I don't got to worry about it in first year. You know?
Of course, yeah. And when you start intern year, it takes like a little bit of time, like at least first couple of like 4 or 5 months to get used to everything, like the EMR, how the flow of patients is, the social workers flow, the nurses flow. And once you know that, life becomes a little bit easier. And then you can like really start studying for your step 3, and the sooner you take your step 3 the better, because you know that's one thing off your list.
Yeah, as soon as you get done with the step 3, it's going to be like a huge relief. That's what I'm waiting for right now. So I'm just trying to prep for that. I'm going to do UWorld. I'm going to do whatever comes my way. Online med ed is another thing because I'm more of a visual learner. I would prefer that. And once that's done with, I'm totally going to focus on getting prepared for being an efficient doctor on the floors, right?
And second year is where you actually learn a lot more of medicine than first year.
Yeah.
I actually had an attending tell me that, you know, your job as an intern is to do grunt work. So
straight up.
Yeah, straight up.
That's what's up.
I'm like, all right, cool.
I got you.
All right, let me just go do this blood draw.
Oh, I'm a tech now.
Let me do this X-ray.
Let me do this X-ray. Damn, son. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what else I could do. Do you have some tips for me that maybe I can do prior to coming into intern year, because I'm totally naive to the whole process, right? I'm only doing the paperwork right now, step 3, and getting focused on just becoming an efficient intern after that.
One is that the 4th year, when you have this break, was like the best time of my life. That's where I like kind of traveled. I went to Turkey, right? I had fun. I enjoyed my life because for the longest time you were studying for med school. You took step 1, you took step 2. You were taking these shelf exams, and you know, after all of that, you finally get this one break where you've matched now. You have that, you know, security in your mind, and you feel good, right? Yeah. And you get to enjoy that a little bit. So I would say enjoy that time.
All right. Chill out a bit.
Yeah, I would say enjoy, go have fun before intern year starts, because intern year is tough. It's a steep learning curve. It's fun. It's tough, and then you'll be learning as you go along. Like every hospital is a little different. You'll be doing a lot of grunt work. You will be studying during intern year. Step 3, you can study, you know, and take step 3 during your intern year or second year. Like everyone takes step 3, and everyone mostly passes step 3. So it is something that you have to do. But I feel like you, after going through med school, you do need a little break. So I would recommend before intern year, you don't want to be tired. You don't want to be like, study a little bit. Study maybe an hour a day if you want to, you know, kind of keep up with your knowledge, kind of refresh things. But don't go crazy. Don't burn yourself out even before residency starts.
That's a good advice, because I think the psychology of it all also plays into effect, right? Yeah. If you're coming into intern year and you're so burnt out because you just were so focused on, oh my God, I got to become the best intern ever, and you haven't even taken a breath after matching, I mean, you're going to be burnt out by the end of intern year most likely, right? Or maybe even the middle of it, who knows? But more specifically, when it comes to any tips...
Oh yeah, just don't be egotistical when you go in. Don't be like, oh, I'm a doctor now, I'm special, and try to don't feel like you're better than everyone else. Don't feel like you're better than the nurses. Don't feel like you're better than the you know, social worker, because we all work together in order to help the patient, right? Don't feel like, you know, everyone's working on your time just because you need something. You're like, hey, I need this X-ray right now. The X-ray tech has other things on his list, just like you have other things on your list. So be very, you know, mindful of
get your
other
professionalism
people.
down, basically.
Right. Get your professionalism down. Don't be like, hey, you know, I need this blood draw right now. The nurse has other stuff to do. The nurse, you know, is doing her job. If you need something, it's not like, you know, you don't deserve other people's help, right? You are privileged to have other people working with you. You are privileged to be there. So you should be patient, and you should be very mindful of other people.
But yeah, I totally agree with that. You definitely have to learn all the professionalisms, all the mannerisms before you get into that hospital. Do you have any resources that you use to get your knowledge up to date? Because that's what I'm trying to focus on right now.
Well, not really.
All right. Let's cut that part out. Let's start over. But yeah, totally agree with you. You definitely have to get your professionalism down, your mannerisms down, and make sure all of that is in check before you get into that actual hospital. I think this is a pretty much short video on how to prepare for intern year,
Yeah.
and I think if you have any questions, make sure to put in the question box
Yeah,
below.
just 2 more things I would like to add. Be very
Let's start.
punctual, and remember, the pain will only last for 3 years.
And also remember to like and subscribe. Catch you guys in the next one.
Yep, take it easy.